the anatomy of a Ponzi scheme. The anatomy of a Ponzi scheme. Okay, what this actually means, let me explain it in plain language, is we're going to be looking at the various things that make up a Ponzi scheme, how you can recognize it, how it works, how you can protect yourself from Ponzi schemes, what happens if you get involved in a Ponzi scheme and you lose your money, and how to prevent all these bad things from coming to you at all. That's what we're going to be talking about. That's what I mean by the anatomy of a Ponzi scheme. All right. So let's start with what is a Ponzi scheme. So, there can be all these high English words put together to define a Ponzi scheme, but let's just go back to the basics. A Ponzi scheme simply means you are putting money in something you think is an investment, but it is not, and then they are giving you a lot of money back, calling it profit, but it's actually not profit. What they are doing is that when they collect your money, then they collect money from other people and pay you part of the money they collected from other people. So because of that, provided people keep putting money in, they will always have money to pay people back. Do you get? Then what eventually happens is that when the news breaks out that we don't think this investment it's not an investment, but people call it an investment, right? So when news breaks out that this thing that has been calling itself investment doesn't look like it's an investment, people will stop putting money in the scheme. And suddenly, because those people are no longer having extra people putting in money, and maybe people even want to take out their money, they will not have enough money to pay people. So what will happen is that they will default in paying people. They may stop paying people. Then that will even cause more people to freak out and want to collect their money in a very short time, sometimes 1 week, sometimes 1 month, sometimes 1 quarter. The whole thing will be dismantled. You will lose all the money that you have put into that scheme. That's essentially what a Ponzi scheme is about. Some people have experienced it. I have experienced it. I was invested in a Ponzi scheme. All right. So I'm a victim. I'm a victim. I have been a direct victim of Ponzi scheme before, but also I have been an indirect victim of Ponzi scheme. So the time Dr. Linda, been a direct victim of Ponzi scheme, there's this investment. Then that time I haven't really learned how to invest. If you know about my story, you would I don't know if you've been watching some of my videos, you would have heard me say that I invested in stock for the first time in 2008. All right. So in 2009, stock prices have gone up. Stock prices dropped dramatically, and I told myself, you know what, I'm going to liquidate everything that I invested in stock. But what is missing from that story is that it's not like it's missing, right? It's just like one other angle that sometimes I just leave out just to make the story understandable, is that what was actually pushing me to go sell all my stocks was not just the drop in price, which was like the main issue, but it was because there was another investment that some people around me at that point were putting money into, and this investment promised to be paying them 30% a month. 30% a month. Can you even believe that? So huge. So in 3 months you just double your money, or in 2 months plus you just double your money. So 30% a month. So and I said to myself, here I am investing in stocks, and my stock prices are going down, and there is this investment paying $30 a month. So that was like part of what pushed me to say, let me go sell all my stocks and come and invest. But it turns out that before I could finish liquidating the stock, it really took time. The wealth management firm and stockbroker took some time. It took them a couple of months, because of the as of 2008, you get, and maybe they didn't have enough people trying to buy stock, so it took them time. So what then happened was that by the time they finished selling the stock, which I lost half of my net worth, the Ponzi scheme has also crashed. Right? The Ponzi scheme have also crashed. So At that point, I was indirect. That's 2008. I was indirect because it pushed me to sell all my stocks, right? Even though I didn't put my money in the Ponzi scheme before it crashed. Then, but after, if you also know my story, after 2009, selling all my stock, I backed off from the stock market. But I didn't really back off from investing in general. I was still looking for things to put my money into. That was where I fell into another Ponzi scheme that was also paying huge amount of money, roughly about 30% again, every month, right? Or every time you put in money. That one was every time you put in money. Within a month, you get 30%, right? So, and I had put my money, and eventually I lost everything in that one. I lost all the money that I put in that particular one. But this was around maybe 2015. So that's like 10 years ago. So I've been a direct victim of Ponzi scheme. I've been an indirect victim of Ponzi scheme. Therefore, listen, so that if you have not been a victim of Ponzi scheme, so that you won't fall a victim of Ponzi scheme. All right? So why is it that new investors mistaking Ponzi scheme for superior investment? Why? That is because when you think of investment, you think of, oh, you put in money and you get a lot of money back, right? But the question is, what is a lot? For many investors, they know that when you put in money, maybe people will say, oh, 4% if you are investing with a bank, or even less. Then some people will say 5%, some people will say 6, 10, 15. But this is per year, calculated annually, right? But you see these Ponzi scheme people, they'll drop like 30% per month. So to you, you're like, every other solid investment out there is just nonsense. This is the real deal. So new investors believe that they are going to get so much money within a very short time for any money they are putting into any kind of investment. And that's why when they see a Ponzi scheme, it's like, this is all I've been looking for. Okay? This is why new investors mistaking Ponzi scheme for superior investment. Okay? So now, why is it that Ponzi scheme perpetrators focus on gaining your trust first? Because one of the things, one way Ponzi scheme work is that they gain your trust first. Why is it so? They try to gain your trust first because if somebody just come and say, hey, do this, hey, do that, you may not even really listen to them, right? You may not really listen to them. But when they get you to trust them, then it is very easy for you, for anything they tell you to do, you're going to end up doing it. Okay, so the question now is, how does Ponzi scheme perpetrators, or how do Ponzi scheme perpetrators gain your trust? One of the things they do to gain your trust is that they give you dividend, which is that, like, return on your investment will be so huge, and will be, the time to recoup that investment will be so short, right? So this means that a Ponzi scheme may just promise you 30% in 1 month. Meanwhile, banks are saying in 1 year. You're like, 1 year is too much. And guess what? They won't just, Ponzi scheme people won't just promise you a ridiculous amount. They will actually give it to you. So as a new person joining the Ponzi scheme, every month, let's say you put in money, they pay you 30%. They will pay you the money, pay it into your account. You will see it. You'll be like, wow, this works. You put in money again, they will pay you the next month. Wow, this works. You put in money again, they will pay you the next month. Then they are going to suggest, so they've gained your trust that, yes, it works. Then they will suggest, just no need to be wasting time putting it into your account, then you paying it back to us. Is that necessary? We already know it works. Just keep it with us. Do you see? But when they advise you, that you think that this advice is in your favor. I mean, who wouldn't think so? Then you will just start keeping the money. But what that means is that your money will just continue to grow in paper. But in reality, they're just using your money to pay others. You actually don't have any money. When you will know that you don't have any money is when you now go later to take the money. You will not be able to even see them to collect the money. So Ponzi scheme perpetrators, first, they gain your confidence. And how they do that, they gain your trust. And how they do that is by paying you ridiculous amount of dividend. That's money, investment profits within a short time. They say in 1 week, in 1 month. So they'll be giving you lots of money. And that can skew your perception. All right? And they'll gain your trust just before Listen, just before they fuck you up, all right? Just before they fuck you up, they are going to gain your trust. Okay, so what is the Ponzi scheme perpetrator's next move after gaining your trust? They ask you to go all in. They ask you to go all in. What does that mean? Just like I explained before, they'll say, hey, this thing is working, you're getting lots of dividend, just put your money. Or it may not even be that same place you were investing before. They may just be like, just put your money somewhere else, or just put your money here. But the point is that whatever they ask you to do, most time they'll be asking you to go all in, to put in more money. Or they may even say, invest more of the money that you have. Right? They'll ask you to go all in. And once you do that, then come the next thing, silence. Yes, silence. Like this type of deadening silence, like this. What does that mean? It means that once you go all in, you sort of stop hearing from the Ponzi scheme people. Or even if you're hearing from them, you can be hearing from them provided you are not asking for your money back. Right? They can correspond. But many of them, when they collect all that your money, they run away, or they may not run away, but you are just transacting with them, but no profit or dividend is entering your account. Instead, it's just building up on the account you created with them, which is just like a computer adding figures for you, right? So now what happens? Sooner or later, people discover that this is a Ponzi scheme, and they all run out, and the Ponzi scheme collapse. And once that happens, what is going to happen? You will lose all your money. You lose all your money. It doesn't matter what you plan to do with that money, whether you plan to retire with it, whether you plan to start a business with it, whether you plan to send your child to school with it, whether that's the money you are owing people, you are in debt, it doesn't matter. You will lose all your money. Now, let's skip to the good parts. Can you get justice when people dupe you using a Ponzi scheme? Yes. So what some people do is that they will report to the law enforcement, and law enforcement judge the case and maybe bring those people to jail, those people, throw them into prison, ask them to pay back all of that, right? Take their houses and everything. So you will get justice. You are most likely going to get justice. But what else? Will you get your money back? Most likely no. Most likely no. You will not get your money back. What does that mean? It means that, yes, they can ask those people to pay your money back. They can throw them into jail. But most times, you will not get your money back. You will not get your money back. Because they use your money to pay out dividend to people. So your money does not exist. It's not even with them. It's just like, let's say you throw somebody into prison and say, you are owing people $10 billion. It's like, yeah, now I'm in prison. But who is going to bring out that money to give you back? You may not get your money back. There have been times when people got their money back, but sometimes it takes too long. Just imagine money you invested when you were in your 20s or 30s. Maybe getting it when you're in your 50s. And you're not getting the money with profit, oh. You're probably getting it with like the same raw amount you invested. So let's say you invested $10,000 when you were 28, and they used 20 years to resolve this case, and you get the $10,000 back 20 years later. What's the value of that $10,000 to you? Do you get? As of when you invested that, maybe it was your total net worth. So even when you get your money back, it's as if the value of the money has so dropped. You may not even get your money back. All right. Now, what's the worst part? There have been cases where, people who were paid dividend by a Ponzi scheme were asked to return the money that was paid to them. So it's not just enough that you did not make profits, right? It's not just enough that you did not make profits. It's not just enough that somebody duped you. If they paid you within that, and you have used that money, maybe you use the money to buy a house or something, then they say you should pay the money back. You don't even have the money back to pay. Like, there was this case of Benny Madoff or something. There was this somebody on Wall Street that defrauded people. In the documentary, some people said that their houses were taken from them because the money they got from the Ponzi investment scheme. They used it to maybe buy a house or something. So they came and they asked them to pay back the money. They don't have it. They took their house from them. So, like, you've been duped. You are crying. Something is happening to you. But it is still that time that somebody is coming to take what you have. Do you see? It's going to be life wrecking. So, it's not, you can get justice, but most times you won't get your money back. Worse, you can even be asked to pay back some money. So, this is serious. What should you do? What should you do to prevent yourself from falling into Ponzi scheme? Learn how investing works. Learn how stock investing works. Learn how investing works in general. Educate yourself. It's not negotiable. There are some people that will be like, oh, they told me I can be getting this, they are paying me this dividend. Like, if you really know how stock investing works, you will know that it is rarely ever possible that a company is paying you 30% of the money you put in with them every month. So you'll be able to know what is not possible. Because most Ponzi schemes are going to promise what is not even possible, what is not within the realm of possibility, right? So educate yourself. Educate yourself. If you are here, you're a woman, you are listening to me, you can read a book. You can read any book, but at least I can suggest one book for you, right? So you can read any book, but let's say, so you can read this book called Stock Market Mama. Have you seen the book? You can read Stock Market Mama, which you can get from Amazon, or which you can also download the free copy from our website, www.investonomy.com. All right, read Stock Market Mama. The other books, you can read Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham. You can read Common Stock, Uncommon Profit by Philip Fisher. Yeah, those are some of the books I've read. But you can also read Stock Market Mama, all right, to learn how stock investing works and how to go about it. So that, because when you know the real thing, it makes it easier for you to identify what is fake. Do you get? When you know the real thing, it makes it easier for you to identify what is fake. So, for example, there was this time being online, doing some business, so we noticed that, okay, maybe some scammers, they'll just maybe create a different account. This is a different example. They'll try to replicate your account or do something to try to make people maybe pay them or something like that. After some time, what we noticed was that it was useless trying to educate people that, hey, there's this scammer using this account, because the moment you finish describing that scammer, the scammer is going to change themselves, right? They're going to come up with a different name, come up with a different account. If you say there is this person going around bearing Paul Matthew, trying to swindle people, that person is going to change their name instantly to Sylvester Brown. Do you get the point? So but what we noticed was that if you can tell people what the real thing is, for example, tell them, do not send email any other place except to this email address. Any other email address should not be used except this. So it became easier, because why? When people know the real thing, it's very easy for them to know what fake is. But when you go trying to explain to them what fake is, fake will always mutate. Fake will always change itself. So it's difficult. All right? It's difficult. So my point is that instead of trying to figure out how the different Ponzi scheme works, do you get my point? What you should instead focus on is how real investment works. Because once you know how real investment works, it's very easy for you to know that, oh, this thing is not real investment. Do you get? So that knowledge is going to help you avoid entering into Ponzi schemes. All right. And just like there's another of my video, I don't know if you've seen it, that we talked about if you want to make money in stocks, if you want to make money investing in stocks, hiring a wealth manager is not enough. Still talking about the Wall Street story. It was somebody who proposed, like, who showed themselves to be a wealth manager. Many people invested with them. They didn't even know it was a Ponzi scheme. They didn't know it was a Ponzi scheme, right? So in investment industry, we have good people, we have ugly people, we have bad people, then we have ugly people. Just like the rest of the world, right? So this is not throwing shade on finance industry. It's just like the rest of the world. Learn, learn, learn. If you want to really sustainably make money investing in stocks or investing in, like, doing investments in general, you have to be able to identify a Ponzi scheme. But the best way to identify a Ponzi scheme is to know what real investment looks like, the principles of real investment. And I said, read some books. Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham, Common Stocks and Common Profits by Philip Fisher, or Stock Market Mama by Dr. Linda Paduro. All right? So my name is Dr. Linda Paduro, and I'm the CEO of Investonomy, an educational, a stock investing educational company. What we do is that we teach people how to invest in stocks by themselves. So we teach you how to invest in stocks by yourself, right? And check out those books, read them, and get the knowledge you need so that you never get scammed by somebody. All right? Take good care of yourself till I see you again.